Welcome to our second part about the 25 best islands in the Mediterranean. In the first part, we visited islands such as Mallorca, Sardinia or Crete. We now continue with 13 extraordinary pearls of the Mediterranean. If you like this video, please support the Travel Owl channel with a like, comment or a subscription. Thank you. The diversity of the almost 700 square kilometers island offers an attractive range of dream beaches and bays, as well as great landscapes and an interesting cultural offer. The coastline alone, which covers around 216 kilometers, makes the hearts of beach lovers and water sports enthusiasts beat faster. On the one hand, there are picturesque bays overgrown with typical Mediterranean pine trees and lined with light-colored sand, where you can experience great beach days on the crystal-clear Mediterranean Sea. But red beaches and rugged coastal landscapes are also typical of Menorca's coastal landscape. The sea off the Balearic Island offers great spots for diving, surfing and sailing. The capital of the second-largest Balearic island is Mahon in the south of the island. The city is not only known as a popular vacation destination, but above all because it is home to the largest natural harbour in Europe. The impressive harbour is, and was in the past, one of the most important hubs in Menorca. Ferries arrive here from the mainland, Barcelona and Valencia, as well as from the Balearic Islands of Mallorca and Ibiza. The former capital, now a popular vacation destination, is Ciutadella in the west. The historic buildings in the idyllic old town are particularly attractive, as are some great beaches in the surrounding area. Capri remains one of the most beautiful destinations in the Gulf of Naples and delights travelers above all with its striking rocky landscape. Thanks to the exciting, varied sights, the island offers a diverse program with countless highlights for history buffs, relaxation enthusiasts and nature lovers alike. Capri is traditionally regarded as an attractive vacation destination and was already highly valued in Roman times for its pleasant climate. For this reason, travelers will come across several archaeological sites on the island that give an impression of its eventful history. In particular, the Villa Jovis, where Emperor Tiberius resided in the 1st century, is an exciting excursion destination for those interested. Visitors can also walk along the Via Crup, which was built on Capri by the famous entrepreneur and leads to the picturesque gardens of Augustus. If you want to spend your vacation on Capri, you can also expect incomparable natural spectacles and imposing rock formations. The world-famous Blue Grotto or Grotta Azzurra is a must-see for travelers during their stay on the island. Many visitors are also very impressed by the Arco Naturale, which was formed naturally and is made of limestone. During a hike, guests can explore the mighty rock arch and take in the magnificent panorama of the Mediterranean. The Faialioni, on the other hand, are the landmark of Capri and offer an unforgettable sight, especially in the evening. Rhodes is, in our opinion, one of the most beautiful islands in Greece. It is the largest island in the so-called Dodecanese archipelago. Geologically close to the coast of Turkey, which you can usually even see directly from the beach, Rhodes nevertheless belongs to Greece. It is said that the island was once given to the sun god Helios by Zeus, at least according to mythology. The Colossus of Rhodes, which is one of the wonders of the world but is now considered lost, probably also depicted the mighty sun god. The Greek attitude to life awaits you on the sunny island, which is over 1,400 square kilometers in size, as well as a wonderfully green landscape, unusual for an island in the Aegean. Look forward to olive groves, dense forests, blossoming valleys and babbling springs that invite you to go for a walk or a hike. Discover the historical towns with their typical sights that will take you back to ancient times. And, of course, enjoy some time on one of the many sandy beaches that continue to make Rhodes a top destination for beach vacationers. On a surfboard or simply splashing around with the kids, the Greek island is perfect for a beach vacation. The largest island in the Cyclades is located in the Aegean Sea and not only boasts beautiful sandy beaches, but also a diverse landscape and a picturesque old town. Naxos town, also known as Kora, is the perfect place for a sightseeing tour. The town's landmark, the Portara, is located on a hill on the small offshore island of Palatia, which is connected to Kora via a footbridge. The gate is part of the never-completed Temple of Apollo. When you arrive by ferry, Portara rises up on the island like an oversized picture frame. Historic buildings in Venetian Cycladic architecture, a charming harbor promenade and labyrinthine alleyways take you back to Greek history and mythology. Stroll through the alleyways of the city that lead you up to the Castro, the city's castle. Even the way there through the castle district is worth a walk. The numerous tavernas and cafes invite you to sample typical Greek delicacies. The real highlight of Naxos is definitely the beaches. In the south of the island, the miles of golden sandy beaches are strung together like a string of pearls and are only interrupted by rocky headlands. The most famous of these is Plaka Beach. Bars, tavernas and sun loungers leave nothing to be desired here. The sun-drenched island, which is also the southernmost in the Mediterranean, captivates with its unique beauty. The island enchants its guests with miles of ivory beaches, turquoise blue lagoons and a lavender blue horizon. The endless beaches invite you to sunbathe and relax. Pure relaxation. Romantics enjoy the beautiful sunsets that make the vacation unique. Those interested in culture should not miss the old mosques, the La Griba Synagogue, the picturesque pottery village of Galala and its museum. Today's inhabitants of the island are mainly descended from Berbers. And when you consider that Romans and Jews, among others, have also had an influence on this island over the centuries, you are not surprised that there are still many traces of different cultures present. Although you can experience a wonderful Oriental flair here, the mentality of the inhabitants is largely modern. But you will experience this for yourself on your excursions. As you drive through the countryside, you will pass a few houses with gardens, which characterize the island's landscape like little splashes of color. Fresh water is in short supply on Djerba due to the lack of fresh water sources, which is reflected in the agriculture. Fruit trees and vegetables can only be grown in the center of the island, while even date palms feel at home on the salty coast. Zakythos is becoming more and more popular every year and now attracts a good 400,000 visitors each season. Although the Greek island is smaller than Kos or Rhodes, it offers a lot in terms of scenery and has spectacular cliffs. Zakythos was once a base for the Venetians, who christened the island Fior di Levante, flower of the Levant. The island is particularly impressive due to its numerous natural monuments, which you can marvel at during your vacation. Smuggler's Bay is one of the most famous bays in all of Greece and has graced the covers of numerous travel magazines and books on Greece. It's not just the shipwreck that's stranded there, the steep coast and the turquoise sea that offer spectacular views. Even the journey there is quite a challenge, as you can only reach the bay by boat. The blue caves at Cape Skinari can also only be admired from a boat. Numerous local providers offer excursions on small boats. The Orthodox Church in the village of Kerry in the far southwest was spared by the 1953 earthquake and is well worth a visit. Kerry, with its ancient olive trees and the limestone cliffs off the coast, is a wild and romantic corner well worth seeing. From the bell tower of the Church of Panagia Kyriatissa in Kerry, you have a wonderful view of the village, the sea and the Misitas cliffs. The lush, green island of Lesbos or Lesbos is the third largest of the Greek islands after Crete and Evia. Its special feature: Lesbos is practically unaffected by the mass tourism that has turned other islands into tourist amusement parks. It is the perfect place for people who want to experience the real Greece. From the mountainous pottery village of Zakythos in the south and the ancient cities of Petra and Mithymna in the north, to the legendary petrified forest in the west and the neoclassical architecture of Mytilene in the east, Lesbos really does have something for everyone and is one of the best places to experience Greece, not to mention the food, ouzo, beaches, adventure and wildlife. The most touristy beaches on the island: Zakythos Beach in Mytilene, Molivos, Petra, Naxos, Sigri, Scala Eressos, Scala Kaloni, Vatera and Agio Isidoros, await you with exciting water sports. Incurable romantics can spend endless hours on the beach or relax in quiet bays and picturesque villages by the sea. Visit Haramada, Agio Homogenis, Kanoni, Petalidi or Evriaki. If you prefer seclusion, you will easily find the peace and quiet you desire in the island's otherworldly landscapes or on secluded, unspoiled beaches just a few kilometers off the road. For over 7 centuries, Ischia was occupied by various peoples and rulers. They left behind buildings and customs that can still be seen on the island today. On the green volcanic island of Ischia in the Adriatic, culture, history and the Italian way of life combine to create a fascinating mix. Its year-round mild climate and fertile volcanic soil make Ischia glow in lush green. Natural forests, olive and lemon groves and vineyards define the irregular appearance of the island. The island's inhabitants conserve resources and largely refrain from interfering with nature. They use the natural conditions to create products of outstanding quality. Local specialties and seafood can be found in the many taverns and trattorias as well as at the markets in Forio, Barano, and Casamicchiola Terme. The enchanting beaches in Ischia Porto, Laco Ameno, Forio, Moronti and Barano and Sirara Fontana attract locals and visitors alike in summer. Ischia has been known as a spa resort for decades due to its many thermal baths. If the weather does not permit a stay on the beach, the thermal baths invite you to relax and unwind. In beautiful gardens, connoisseurs will find thermal facilities of the highest standard. The Castello Aragonese can be reached via a bridge from the district of Ponti in Ischia Porto. The castle is one of Ischia's landmarks alongside the 789-metre-high Monte Epomeo. The island of Korcula is located in the southern Dalmatia region of Croatia and is approximately 48 kilometers long and about 8 kilometers wide. On the island of Korcula you can expect a Mediterranean climate, a breathtaking natural landscape, and it is not for nothing that Korcula is also known as the Green Island. The two largest towns on the island of Korcula are the eponymous town of Korcula and the harbour town of Via Luca. Both towns attract many tourists from all over the world during the hot summer months. The town of Korcula is the birthplace of the world-famous seafarer Marco Polo and also the jewel of the island. There are numerous sights to admire in the old town of Korcula, and the flair of the many cafes and restaurants combined with the Roman architectural styles is breathtaking. Just a few kilometers from the town of Korcula is the seaside resort of Lefkada with its unique sandy beach. As sandy beaches are rather rare in Croatia, this is also one of the highlights of the island of Korcula, and many tourists from all the surrounding towns come here especially for this purpose. In the western part of the island of Korcula lies the harbour town of Via Luca. Here, too, there is a wide range of restaurants and a lively town centre. But the many smaller towns, such as Medvinjak, which are spread across the entire island of Korcula, are also ideal for those looking for a quiet spot. Lefkada, also known as Lefkas, is a true Greek gem. The island is located in the Ionian Sea and offers azure blue water, white sand and picturesque bays for pure beach idyll. The island's capital of the same name in the north offers an attractive sightseeing program. As you stroll through the alleyways, the folk songs that can be heard here transport you back to the former Lefkada. The impressive architecture of the 17th-18th century reaches its peak in the temples, towers and church buildings that adorn the town. In front of the town stands the castle of Agia Mavra, which is connected to the island by a narrow strip of land. The former defensive fortress is now home to numerous protected bird species and is a popular tourist attraction. Another highlight are the small fishermen's houses and windmills. The Dokato Lighthouse is located at the southern tip of the island. The dream beaches in Lefkada prove that you don't have to travel to the Caribbean for powdery white sand and turquoise water. Many of the beaches are awarded the Blue Flag every year, a distinction for particularly clean and high-quality water. Lefkada's beaches have not gone unnoticed internationally either. In the south of the island, Agrumni Beach and Porto Katsiki invite sun worshippers. Porto Katsiki is a picturesque bay surrounded by densely overgrown rocks and is one of the most beautiful beaches on the island. Even though it is no longer an insider tip, a visit is an absolute must. Hydra is the jewel of the Saronic Gulf. There are no cars or scooters here, just tiny marble-paved alleyways, donkeys, lots of art and the beautiful sea. Hydra is a small island in the Saronic Gulf, just 70 kilometers as the crow flies from the Greek capital Athens. It is one of the most unique Greek islands to visit and has enchanted artists such as Pablo Picasso and Leonard Cohen with its charm. Despite its growing popularity with tourists, Hydra seems surprisingly untouched by the passage of time. As a protected architectural reserve, any new construction is, theoretically, prohibited and the town is free of motor vehicles, apart from 2 small fire engines and a few miniature garbage trucks. Photogenic donkeys or mules are responsible for transporting goods here. The clattering of hooves on the marble floors and the cries of their carters are an important part of the island's soundscape. The appearance of Hydra is characterized by magnificent villas and modest vernacular houses arranged amphitheatrically around the marbled harbor. They date back to the 18th and 19th centuries, when seafarers brought great wealth to the island, and some of them house museums and exhibitions. Now very cosmopolitan and trendy, Hydra was discovered in the 1960s by a group of artists attracted by its spectacular harbor. Even today, artists and celebrities visit the island of Hydra, which has gained the title of an artist's colony. Kos is the third largest island in the Dodecanese group after the island of Rhodes and the island of Zakythos. It is located in the Mediterranean near Turkey, just a few kilometers from Bodrum. However, Kos still belongs to Greece. As a Greek island, it impresses with the typical hospitality of the locals as well as their laid-back nature and joie de vivre. It also takes you into the world of tranquil fishing villages with their traditional tavernas. Enjoy the culinary highlights under the warm sun and let yourself be enveloped by the typical Greek charm of Kos. In ancient times, Kos was an island state in its own right. Kos town, which is now the capital of the island, was founded in 366 BC. The island can therefore look back on an impressively long history, which can still be seen today in the form of ancient archaeological sites and historical buildings. A vacation on the Greek island is worthwhile if you are a bathing mermaid and want a classic beach vacation. Active sports enthusiasts are also sure to appreciate Kos. In addition, the numerous sites, such as ancient archaeological sites, score points with historically interested vacationers who want to enjoy the flair of ancient Greece. Last but not least, Kos is still a popular destination for party vacationers. On just 224 square kilometers, the island of Elba, part of the Tuscan archipelago, combines tradition and culture with picturesque beaches, charming mountain villages, and an impressive history. The seasons on Elba tend to be mild and relatively humid due to the island's location. While in the dry summer the wind blows from the north, northwest or west, in winter it blows powerfully from the southwest to northeast. Rain should be expected, especially in spring and fall. Monte Capanna is covered in snow in winter. In the other parts of the island, however, snow is extremely rare. Elba is dominated by Monte Capanna, whose massif occupies the west of the island. The rest of Elba is covered in fields, forests, rocks and hills, dotted with hermitages, farms and villages. Cork and holm oak and pine forests provide the green impression. Elba is an island for sports enthusiasts. Swimming, kayaking, surfing, sailing, diving and organized boat trips are at the top of the list for enthusiastic visitors to the island. There are also numerous tennis courts and golf courses. Those interested in culture can visit the many village churches and chapels. Napoleon's residences, the Palazzina dei Mulini on the northern tip of Portoferraio and the Palazzina Napoleonica Winter Palace between Forte Stella and Fort Falcona, are open to interested visitors.